if y'all made it through the engine install. I really appreciate it. This camera was giving me fits. This week, we're going to do the boost valve. This 460's just been rebuilt, but I didn't put the boost valve in. It's a line pressure booster kit, LB2. We're out here, we're gonna make it happen. Engine's in the truck, and time to put the transmission in. We have a 2500 slot converter in a box down there, all the fluid, ready to go. I didn't want to put it in, or I didn't want to leave the transmission apart for so long, waiting for this boost valve to come in and just have dust and rain, if it possibly could have rained or got anything in it. So it's together and clean. It's not that big a deal to take it apart. You can actually do this in your truck, but since this isn't in the truck yet, we're gonna do it out of the truck, make it easy. So I just had this on here covering up to keep any dirt out of it and stuff. Tear that cork. I'm telling you, the cork gasket's the good one. Nice, clean, ready to go. Set this up nice and flat, and we'll pull the filter off one-handed. There's that Sonax reman valve body with all the updates in it. So it comes with a new spring. It's like a purple spring. The new valve with the holes drilled in the correct places. It makes better flow and 2 O-rings. You get the old boost valve out. It's kind of right here by the shift linkage. See it in there? And then the valve comes out. There we go. You can do it with crap from Home Depot. Not sponsored. Alright, so here's your little clip that you had to get out. Here's the boost valve and a spring. So you go ahead and you just pick it out of there. And you got your actual valve itself. It goes with the point in. You don't want any of this crap to fall in the transmission because there is a void through here. But the new boost valve actually has O-rings that seal it where this one didn't, and this one's a little shorter. So it comes with a different, a heavier duty spring. Oh. So when you're working on transmission, the pick is your friend.
So take it.
Alright, and there's the stock black spring. So we're going to use the old lube guard assembly goo, put the O-rings on. We're going to drop the spring in, just like we took the other one out. Then the LB2 valve. And it's a separated bag, so the spring didn't cut the O-rings. That's pretty smart. They open up each side individually. And slide these on. Nice and polished on the top, but kind of only one way to put it in. The guts are already in it, and it just goes over the spring. You get your little trans goo and hit up the O-rings. Make sure they slide nice and easy. You don't want any scoring in that cylinder. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little on this too, just to be sure it's slippery when it goes in. Slide this in place. So I put the goo on it. A little push. That's it. Feel it seat. And you just get your clip. That's why you wear black clothes. You get your clip. Pop the thing back in there. So let's push this to bottom it out. push the spring in. There we go. Everything's bottomed out. You can depress it and see that the clip is in its sleeve. We're good to go. We got the boost valve installed. Now we'll get more line pressure and firmer shifts. Not neck braking necessarily, but a good positive shift is what we're looking for. And we're ready to put the filter and the pan on it and throw it in the truck. All right, so we got the 4L60 back together, ready to put the torque converter in it. Pan and all has been torqued to 9 foot-pounds with a cork gasket. Now we're going through and we're just below the transmission lines. We're going to change the bottom one because it was leaking into the radiator. There's a lot of oil saturation right here. This one's kind of bad. So we'll change this one because we're keeping it. The upper one we're going to cut and run into this transmission cooler up here. So you feed in through the bottom, it pushes the air up, and you come out the top into the bottom of the transmission cooler, which pushes all the air out back into the transmission, which will expel the air. So it's always bottom up to push the air out. This works for me. So we're hooking up a transmission cooler and taking care of these nasty lines, putting new split loom on everything. It's a 05, so it's been out in the weather for 20 years. So new split loom and transmission cooler, and we'll see. We'll pop the transmission in, get this engine hooked up, and hear what that BTR truck Norris cam sounds like. So it's the next day in the afternoon. It's kind of started to cool down a little bit. It's hot in the middle of the day. I ain't getting out here and all that. So we went and rewire loomed all the harness. Harness has all got fresh loom on it, no exposed wire showing. And sitting there, we got the AC compressor put back on, all the plumbing done except for the last piece of the transmission cooler. I want to get everything in first before I cut that hose to length just to be sure everything's in correct. But we got the belts on. We're ready to put the transmission in, get the engine sitting correctly, and then we'll go ahead and throw the intake on. That way, when the engine pops up a little bit, you can see it's sitting on one bolt on either side, and you can pretty much just pull the whole thing till it rocks. So once I get the transmission in, I'll click in all the accessories in the back as far as how they go with the cam position sensor and the oil pressure sensor, put the intake on it, hook up all the fuel rails and everything else. So next step, I'm going to throw the transmission up in it. We're going to put the torque converter in. It's a 22 to 2500 stall. Let's go ahead and pop the transmission in now. All right, so I got the rebuilt 4L60. I haven't put the converter in it because it makes it heavy. I'm going to transfer it to my transmission jack first, using the red bump on the floor to stop the engine stand with the transmission mount on it from rolling forward because I'm by myself. So pull out the stop. I can slide this over here because it's not that bad until you put the converter in it. Then I can take my bracket off. I think it was like 60 bucks on eBay, maybe 40, somewhere in that range, but total lifesaver. Makes this job a whole lot easier when you don't have a bench or a lot of room. So here I have the Total Transmission Chicago down the box. This is not sponsored at all, but I gotta give a shout out to these guys. They're not Circle D and they're not or whatever TCI. These are 100% rebuilt, remanufactured. This is a 22 to 2500 stall. You got it written on it right here. Converter. They rebuild them in-house. The customer service is awesome. And this is what we're using in this 4L60 rebuild with the BTR Truck Norris NSR cam in the 5.3. So I will go ahead. I'll put a couple quarts of fluid in it, whatever it'll hold. Stab it in the 4L60 and put it up in there. Got some Dexmerk 6. Look, check it out. I don't know about you know your boy Clarence. Your boy Clarence, a good man. $1.50 a quart. We found this at the old dollar store. They were getting rid of it. Like, hey, we need that. So let's just pre-fill this converter a little bit so it's not a dry start on the converter. So this converter has had a little while to soak up a couple quarts of fluid. Always check and make sure you put your O-ring back on the stator shaft there. All the checks have been made. So let's see how much of a mess I can make by putting this converter in quickly. I did throw a strap on my stand here just to make sure I don't push it off. And let's go with it. Seated. Let's go up with it and put it in. Put some bolts in it. So to get the top 2 bolts in, all this extension is very, very necessary. And I put the 3-inch to the front so it makes a good curve with a taped up universal joint. That way when you put the stud in there, it doesn't fall out. You can slink this all the way up to the top of the bell. And it goes in. Here we are. Transmission is in, lines are hooked up, Y pipe is hooked up. It'll do for now, and so will this. That is probably a 15-year-old Hooker Aero Chamber F-body Camaro muffler. It's 3-inch in. I've had this on my pre-runner project behind the lift in the toolbox over there. There it is. I welded this in the driveway in the rain at my other house, and it sits perfect. You can see there's a gap, and it'll come down a little bit. And this drive shaft does not move, so it never touches. There's not even a mark on top of it. I had them turning out in front to back tires on both sides because I really wanted that hot rod exhaust. It wasn't loud enough for me, but this one, we're just going to turn them down right here and here just to get the truck going on the road. So today's Monday, June 9th, and we have this Friday and next Friday is the show. So I have 10 days to finish this truck, and hopefully this transmission went together beautifully. It didn't give me any issues. Hopefully it runs and drives with no issues. The top end of the engine went together very well. No issues. Everything's been lubricated with assembly lube and torqued to the right specs and installed correctly. We're on torque converter bolts. This is what brings me to this part. I have a Total Transmission Chicago torque converter. They're they're not real popular yet. I say yet because I called these people. They have wonderful customer service. The girl on the phone knew exactly what I needed. She sent me the torque converter that I would need to match this Truck Norris NSR cam that's in this truck, 22 to 2500 stall. They rebuild their own torque converters in-house. They're all remanufactured torque converters. But let me tell you, they measured this one perfect. You need an 1/8-inch pullout of your pump. This one's spaced perfect. It's all the way in. I've spun it. I've tried to get it farther back. I know it was all the way seated when I put it in. And I measured, I have an 1/8-inch pullout. They took in all that, information when they made this. So I can't really show y'all what I'm trying to show y'all in here. But where this bolt goes in, because this is I only have 2 hands. This, you can get a measurement of your torque converter pullout. And when they remanufactured this one, they did a hell of a job. It's not sponsored, but I just want to give a shout out to Total Transmission Chicago for making a great remanufactured torque converter. Way better than stuff I've used in the past. I've tried other name brand stuff and other less expensive torque converters because nobody really has $1,000 unless you just got it. So this torque converter costs about $250. Same price as all the other stuff I've tried before, except you've had to shim all the other stuff. I had to shim the converter I got from a top converter remanufacturer, ends with a star, and I had to put 2 shims in it just to get it 1/8-inch pullout, but this one's already perfect. So they really take into accommodation what they do. They do a great job with what they do, and this thing just slipped right in. I'm gonna keep wrenching, and we're gonna move on to the top side. Hopefully we can get this thing started. Getting a windshield installed tomorrow, and I'm gonna button up the top of the engine. So I'm gonna put the starter in, finish torquing the flywheel bolts down correctly, tight, spin it as a little bit at a time. I make 3 or 4 revolutions just to make sure that it's tight and the flex plate isn't in any bind. So Here we go. We're gonna keep going. We're running out of time, but we're gonna get it done before scraping. So it's about an hour later. Have everything tightened up. I've gone underneath the under the shot of the truck a couple times. The only thing I got left to do is put the dipstick back in for the engine, not the transmission that's in there. Motor mounts tight. Kind of a running checklist in my head. Everything's tight and buttoned up and ready for fluids except for the engine's dipstick. And it's just a little too high for me to reach to get up in there. So I'm gonna adjust this lift, put this dipstick in, and I'm gonna call it a day. Tomorrow's another day. We're gonna get a windshield put in it, and I'm gonna tighten up the top of the engine. I'll put the intake on it and all the one hose clamp on the transmission cooler and all of the sensors for the top end of the engine to run right. Then we get to tune it and do something with its exhaust. I don't know if we're gonna have time to run it all the way to the back or not, but if not, we'll just turn it out right underneath the frame on either side right there. It's gonna sound pretty good. I did before. And yeah, that's where we're at. It's Monday afternoon. Tuesday gets a windshield. Hopefully we'll have the thing running by Tuesday afternoon. Man, crunch time. Scraping the coast. Well, I hate it rain, but I got a cover, so at least that's good. I'm still staying dry. Got the ready to put the intake back on. The knock sensors are in. We're not going to do the relocate on these unless we have to. We're going to try it this way first. And yeah, intake's going on next. It's just clean and black and fades away. Nothing's more stock looking than a black engine. Today's the day. We're about to test some fuel injectors and make sure I have 8 good ones to stick back in this engine. And Buddy's going to show up and change the windshield out. It's got a couple cracks in it, so we get that brake tag for Louisiana. And man, we're going to fill it up with oil, prime it up, see what it sounds like. It might not idle because of the cam, and we don't have the tune in it yet. But we'll check the oil pressure and make sure all systems are go for the tune. Let's check some fuel injectors. So I have this AOSUN, however you say this kit. It's like 30 bucks off Amazon. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You hook 2 leads to a battery. Happen to have one right here. And then you can set your injector mode and how long you want it to pulse. Continuous, short, medium, or long. You don't want to burn them up. So I usually just put it on long and send some cleaner through them. Make sure they spray really good. Lubricate the O-rings back or change the O-rings if they need it. Put them back in the rail. Wipe the rail down so it looks decent again. Then it's oil and fluids time. So let's check out these injectors and make sure they're all good before we send it. All right, well, I'm gonna start by disassembling. Let's pop a clip. Got my little adapter. Got a whole handful of new O-rings. I want to hose this thing out anyway because silt will sit in the back of it, whatever can pass the filter. So be careful popping these off, they like to fly. All the caps are still on. Drain this in the bucket. All right. Before I go wiping it down, I have, probably should put some little male adapters on the end, but I just stick these in the end of this little machine. And it sends a pulse signal. You just, there's no off and on switch. It's very inexpensive, but it's very effective. I just kind of stick these in here. And they stay pretty good for the most part. Make good connection because it's just wire on terminal. It came with its own set of clips, but nothing really fit the GMs. So I'm going to set this thing to number 4, which is going to be a constant pulse signal. And I'm just going to kind of touch them in and see if they all make noise. Yes. Yes. Well, all of them make noise. All of the O-rings still look good. The engine naturally sits lean to the rear a little bit, and you'll get silt built up right here, and it'll clog number 7 and 8 fuel injector. I know I've hosed these out already, but I'm gonna give it a little spray anyway. A little brake cleaner in there. Change these O-rings, and while the O-rings are off, while the old O-rings are still on, I'm gonna spray some cleaner through them and see how they all spray. So to do that, you get this little adapter, and it holds the injector very tightly into the adapter there, and the adapter just sits right on top of this can. Pull off the little stem, and it sprays everywhere. It makes a giant mess, but you can see how well the injector sprays, and you better hold this thing in here good and on top of here good, because it'll fly out of your hand. Restart the machine. I'll put it on a long pulse signal 3, and it'll pulse and then stop. So now I can set each one up, hold it dearly with my hand, and press the pulse signal, and we'll see how they spray. So I can hook this up, hold this in here, put this on top of here, and with the same similar fluid motion, I can see the spray come out the side of the injector. We'll pulse it and then push down on the can. That's it. This one sprays. All right, so all the injectors sprayed. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and pop all the O-rings off and change them to new O-rings. Just give them a pinch. And pull them off with a pick. Or you just get them a pinch and rip them off with your fingers. A little before and after. Just wipe the thing down, man. It looks a whole lot better. All right, we're ready to get back together. Just loop guard trans goo. I'm gonna wipe these down, put them on, put a little goo in them. So I got all the injectors back together. Sorry guys, the battery and the GoPro died. It's a common problem I have. Let's move this wiring harness and push these back where they belong. Do something backwards. When I cleaned it, it just got flipped on me. I'm going to turn all the injectors back out this way. All right, now let's go back in with it. All right, y'all, today is Friday. We have 7 days left until scraping the coast. It's the last day in this video. Hopefully I can have this up and edited before we get there. And here's the truck. We got it laid out. We have 8 inches of ride height in the front, 9 inches of ride height in the back. 5.3 is in. Just kind of burping the coolant. This thing's murdered out, man. We murdered out the alternator, the front bracket. Once you get everything in here, you really can't see much of anything but black anyway. That BTR Truck Norris cam sounds great through this Camaro F-body muffler. It's not tuned, but it'll start. Got 60 pounds of oil pressure idling. Come on. We're going to tune it later today. Yeah, oil pressure just shoots right up. Not gonna rev it up and go crazy with it just because the tune is not right. It's on the stock 4.8 tune. But I was able to start it up, move it around the yard. We're getting a windshield put in here shortly. This one's got a few cracks in it. Let's see, over here. It runs. There you go. So I'm gonna do a little exhaust work. We're not throwing the full exhaust system on it just yet. I'm gonna just leave it bolted straight to the wire pipe. That's how I had it in this truck at one point in time. It has that muscle car sound. I'm just gonna turn them down underneath the cab for now, just so we can make it to the show. We'll do another video on the exhaust on this later, but a full 3-inch stainless all the way out the back. Project Ballin, man. We're gonna make it. We got a week to get it straight. I believe we can make it happen. We're gonna do something with that blue hood and that funky paint on the roof. Crunch time. We got 7 days left. Thank y'all for watching Modified. I appreciate it. This is a success. I wish I could have taken more time and explained more in detail for y'all, but Project Ballin has come together in a hurry, and sorry I just didn't have time to film it all. Like I can't have to keep apologizing for that, because this is why y'all watch YouTube, to watch people do stuff. Kind of had to just run this one through the mill real quick. We appreciate y'all watching, hanging in with me. We're gonna get back on RCSB project. Got a little bit left to do on it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the grill on it. It ain't got a leak nowhere. This is coming out awesome. 1 week left. Ready to put the hood on it. Here we go. Everything's buttoned up. Exhaust is finished. I got a hooker aero chamber crossflow on it, like off a F-body Camaro. First start. Let's see what it sounds like. Still gonna work on a tune a little bit more, but it's close and we're getting dialed in with it. It's got a nice little chop. Sounds just like F-body Camaro. I mean, the muffler's what makes the car have the sound. It's got a wide pipe straight to the muffler, duals, and I turned them out right underneath the back of the cab. Awesome. Thank y'all for watching Modified. Appreciate it. Catch y'all next week. Later. We'll be at scraping. Modified.